Okay, so welcome back to Amateurs Abroad, and this week we're going to talk about the Lemon House.
Yes, we have done a lot of talking about your lovely home, which we affectionately call the church house. But
Yes.
we've never really revisited the second home that you talked about. So seems
Yeah.
like so long ago, but not really.
Right, and I
The
wrote
Lemon House.
about it. I wrote about it too on our on the blog on our website, theamateursabroad.com. I wrote about how torn I was between the two houses. I was just so torn between church house, which a priest had lived in there previously, so that's why we call it church house, and then like the arches and things
Yeah,
make it look more like a church. So we call that the church house, and then the lemon house, and we call that the lemon house because there's lemon trees and pomegranate trees, but pomegranate doesn't roll off the tongue as much of in the backyard. And that's I was so torn because the church house, as you guys have seen it, it's just big and more like American kind of setup, and the fact traditional like big rooms, just big. And then the lemon house is kind of disjointed because it was a couple houses combined, and so um it's I couldn't figure out, okay, how am I going to fit our whole family in here, because I really want, everyone to be there, and how am I going to fit where the bedroom's going. And I but the backyard, you don't have a backyard in town, like it just you don't.
right,
And so the fact that there was a yard, and I'm thinking my dog, and then I'd call you guys and I'm like, well, you can't buy a house for a dog, well,
right,
that's true, but also we could barbecue. And so it was like, that house was so I could just picture everything, but it wasn't practical for what I wanted immediately for our family. So,
right. Well, and this
and
also
as you know,
contributed to our thinking you were nuts
right,
because you had just gone to this country to find this dream home that you've been dreaming about and da da da. And like after
right,
you
because I
lost
saw
your initial
pictures before
craziness,
of Lemon House, and I
and
went
now
to
you're like,
buy
oh,
Lemon
no.
House.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And now you're like, oh, I found the perfect one. I'm like, really? Because I thought you left for the perfect one. So
right. And this is also the day after I did lose my mind, and you guys
yeah,
thought I'd need to be like air vac out of there because I was like, this place, no way. So it was a lot of up and downs of emotions, for sure, up and
yeah,
down. But it's such a special home, but it needs a lot of work. Like
yeah,
church house had walls that needed the wallpaper to come off and replaster the walls and paint, and then everything else was really a want. You had to add a kitchen, but everything else was a want. And then lemon house, everything's a need.
yeah.
Everything's a need.
Yeah,
So
I think
that was like,
when you gave me the tour, I was grateful I had
yeah,
seen your home first.
the in-person tour. Yeah,
Yes, the in person
yeah,
because it does need a lot of work, and I'm like, yeah, I would have just gone
yeah.
home. This is where
You
we
would have
started.
thought I have lost my marbles. You
Right.
would have definitely
Yes.
think I lost my
And I think
marbles.
I was a little jet lagged and couldn't like quite
Yeah,
appreciate what we could do to it. So
right, right. But now seeing it, do you feel as passionate? Maybe not as passionate as me, but do you get it,
right.
right?
Absolutely, yeah. Because even
Yeah,
though there's a lot of work to do to it, it's still like it's still got great bones and it's completely doable. You just have to be willing to put in
yeah,
the work.
right. And not only it has the outdoor space of the backyard.
Yeah,
Downstairs has there's a patio to go to the backyard, and then
right.
there's an area for a barbecue. Then on the next floor up, there's a big balcony terrace,
Balcony. Mhm.
actually terrace, and then the top floor, actually that floor has the terrace on one side, and then the balcony that faces the street on the other side. And
Yeah.
then the
Yeah.
top floor has a huge rooftop terrace. So there's so much outdoor space, and we're, outdoor kind of living people. So that was like huge. So what I did is I decided,
I don't think you can also like appreciate how much there isn't outdoor space until you like experience
right,
Sicily and where I'm like, "Oh, you're right. There is no backyards."
nothing in town. No, you
Mhm.
have to go out of town, which then you're not in walking distance of anything and all that. And so
Right.
the and so that was just, it was huge. And people have balconies out, that you can
Right.
put like a bistro table or whatever, but they don't have terraces. Like, and this is multiple terraces. So
Right.
so that it's just, so anyway, I decided to go with church house. I bought church house, so happy with my decision. Don't regret it one bit. But Lemon House was like, oh, and it's like almost like you got a puppy and you're so happy you got the puppy, but then one other puppy was there and it was so
Right.
cute too. And you like, and you just think of the little puppy's face and you want that other puppy too, but you love the puppy you got.
Right.
So I needed to go back and get that puppy that I could not get out of my mind.
Yeah.
So I called the agent. I'm like, hey, is that house still available, the Lemon House? And they said yes. And so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go for Lemon House. And so I told her I wanted to buy it. And that one was done remotely because I wasn't there. I'd left already.
Yeah.
And so there was so I'd learned how to buy a house in person and also
Yes.
remotely. And so that was I slowly started telling people about the Lemon House, but then everyone thought I was totally nuts. My
Right.
son was like, "Are you kidding me? What are you getting yourself into?
Like,
Like,
what are you
what have you
doing?
done?" Because he hasn't been there yet. He still hasn't been
Right.
there. And at this point, you hadn't been there.
Mm-mm.
No one had been there but me when I decided to go ahead and buy the second
I
house.
Right. I think I was all on board because I was to the point where, like, if you call me one more time about this house you didn't get, it's like, can you just buy it already so I can stop
Right.
hearing about it?
I'll buy it for you to shut up.
Right.
Yeah. And then also I'm like, someone else is gonna get this and
Right. I
and
remember that was
I
your
will
worry.
regret
Someone's
it.
gonna buy it.
I know, and I'm like, I'll regret it forever. And the interesting thing too is so the garage of the Lemon House was transferred, made into,
Transform.
remodeled
Oh,
into a barbershop. So I'm like, well, there's a tenant there paying rent already, so it's not like
right.
I've already got an income producing property. I mean, it's not a lot of rent, let me tell you that.
Right.
But it was like the excuse to be like, oh yeah, yeah. And so
Right?
the thought was that with the Lemon House, I really thought it'd be a great fit for David, and I was talking to him about it all the time. He's like, "You're insane, you're insane." And so
Right.
he saw the picture, he saw the potential and everything, but he's like, "What's
Yeah.
going on?" And so then I'm like, and so in my head, and also what we're going to do with the Lemon House is rent it to like an 18-month lease to
Yeah.
foreigners that are trying to get their citizenship residency. Because when you
And
come
it's
to try
more
to get your
challenging, right?
yes, it's much more challenging
Yeah.
because when you come to try, it's harder for a foreigner to get a lease than it is for a Italian. And reason being is the Italians, when they have a job, they can't get fired, and so they have steady income. And Americans, when you say, "Oh, I have all this money in the bank," well, yeah, you can go play it on Red at Las Vegas next week and it's
Right.
gone. But knowing, and then plus, they somehow will know your family if you're local. They don't anything about you when you're a foreigner other than you can
Right.
leave. And the leases are 4 years with a 4-year renewal, and you can get out of it in 6 months, but it's a much bigger deal. In America, we're
Yeah.
used to 1-year lease and you renew. So for us, having an 18-month lease is great. And then
Yeah.
foreigners can come see Musamelli, decide if they love it. If they don't, they can go somewhere else in Sicily or mainland or whatever, but it gives them the address to get their residency. So that's the plan. And so then I came so then I was going back to sign the closing documents for Church House, and then I
Mhm.
said, "You and I and your kids were going to meet in Italy." And I'm like, "Well, does Sean want to come out a week earlier and see me?" And he's like, "And then we can go together so he can see the
Right.
house because still no one's seen anything other than me."
You're
And
like, I
so
now have 2 places and no one knows anything.
and no one knows. So he said, "Yeah, I'll meet you." And then I was talking to David, our brother, and said, "Oh, Sean's going to meet me the second week." And he's like, "Well, I want to go." And so, and he had time off before his new job was starting. And
Mhm.
so he's like, "Well, I want to go." And so he met me the first week. So it was great because I had two relatives there, two men, and but I
2,
did
like,
make sure to write a
6'5"
note. Do you remember
men, by
this?
the way.
What?
2 6'5" men.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. They look like if they were together, it would look like my security for
Right.
sure.
Yeah.
And which would then start rumors. But do you remember I wrote a note to my next door neighbor?
Yes, that was super sweet.
Yes. So I wrote a letter to my neighbor because I wanted her to know that I wasn't going to be like a crazy American, and I also wanted her to know two separate men are going to be with me, and they're relatives, so there wasn't like a rumor down the street that I'm some hoe.
Right. You're
And
not starting a
so
brothel.
right. And so I wrote a note saying, "Hi, I'm Laura. I'm from California. I'm 53. I have an adult son who just got married. I plan to be a very good neighbor to you, and if there's anything that you that I do wrong, I'm not offended. Just tell me, and I want to make
Right.
sure to respect everyone's, traditions, privacy, whatever. The first
Right.
week, my brother will be with me. The second week, my nephew will be with me. So then, clear it out. So that was what I did. So I established that so no one around town,
Well,
because
and then
then
didn't you have it translated? Or
Yes, yes.
yeah,
So I wrote it in English and then I translated to Italian in case
yeah.
something did not translate properly. And she's like, "What? She's in a threesome?" And then someone would say, "Oh no, up here it says this." And so
Right.
that was important to have it both ways,
Yeah.
because sometimes we'll get things on the translation that I'm like, "What are you talking about? I don't know what a
Right,
spare
like,
is." And it was
I
like
don't think
a
that's what it's supposed to
faucet,
be.
but they were calling it, like, it didn't translate properly.
Yeah.
So yeah, so we did that, and then so that was important. So I met David at the airport. We went to we saw my house, and he was like, "Oh my gosh, this is great." And this is before construction also. So he saw it before
Right.
construction, thought it was awesome. And then I'm like, "Let me show you Lemon House." So we went to Lemon House, and he's like, "Oh my gosh." And so he could see the potential too.
Mhm.
And so I felt good about that. And then Sean, but he did say just what you said, is, "I'm glad you showed me yours first."
Right.
And then Sean, the same thing. He's like, "Oh no, I totally see it. It's cool,
Yeah.
but this is a lot of work, And
Right.
so, yeah, that was it. So then, over time, so then I closed on both houses, started construction on the church house first,
Mhm.
and as you've seen, everyone can see on the playlist about the house the progress. So now it's like basic furniture, construction's done, basic furniture is in,
Right.
and now it's decorating time. But
Yeah.
the lemon house we haven't done anything with. And then in the meantime, my brother's like, "Hey, what if I go in on it with you?" I'm like, "Really? You want to?" And so he asked his wife, and she's like totally on board, which is very brave of her too, because she hasn't seen
Right.
anything, and then she just knows our family's like cuckoo with ideas. And
Right.
so she said yes, and David actually said, she said yes because of you, not because of me. So that made me feel good. And um, so then now David and I are in it together, and then we're gonna get the construction done, and we'll do the renting it out. So
Yeah. Like, people know, like, we're very, like, why not in our lives, but we're also
yeah,
like, why not with
yeah,
research? So it's not like it's why not,
right,
let's do it, and it all falls apart.
yeah, right, and
There are
also right now with
spreadsheets
research,
behind it.
meaning we know that it's a need that we can fill. We also, there's a group that we're involved in that has a lot of people looking for homes now. So,
Yeah.
we definitely know that it'll be rented.
Yeah.
But it could also be an amazing Airbnb. But I think that's just too much to keep up with for us right now. Like having
Yeah.
a long term renter, and then when I get over there and I'm there longer, then I can understand the whole Airbnb thing. But right now,
Right.
that's too much. I have to find people that will, clean the place after, find people that'll manage it,
Mhm.
and we don't have that yet.
Right. Plus,
So
it'll be
yeah,
a good if we can offer something to, like, an American family is used to that cut yard, so if there's a family that's coming over,
yeah.
um, I would love for that to be a possibility for them.
It's perfect for a family because,
Mhm.
like again, you said the yard, like throw your kids out there. There's plenty of space, and there's nowhere they can escape to because it's like walled in,
Right.
and pets. And we'll be
Yeah.
okay with pets, because
Yeah.
the floors are not hardwood floors; they're tile. So it's not like pets are
Right.
gonna do, and
They're
stone
not gonna
wall. What is a pet
Yeah,
gonna do?
exactly.
And that's why I want it for my pet. So when people move over, it's a big adjustment, and so
Yeah.
knowing that, yeah, we'll adjust to not having a yard or not having these things later when we find our own home. But right now, like, it's a good fit. So
Yeah.
it'll be 3 bedrooms. So the bottom floor is going to be all the living space, the
Mhm.
kitchen, dining room. There's gonna be like that one room that has the stripes like Beetlejuice walls.
Yeah.
That's gonna be like a library slash wet bar, kind of like a beverage
Right.
cart, and have like 2 chairs and a little table. And then, because that's like a pass through, and then the living room and this beautiful arch entry. And we're gonna put the link to where you can see the before of it right
Yeah.
now, because
I
it's
hate that.
uh
Oh.
you have to have imagination. But this is what a lot of
Yeah.
people going there get. They get um this kind of uh status for the house, like where it's
Right.
at.
Mm-hmm.
What, not status, what am I
What's
trying to
the
say? This
word?
kind of
It's level of,
level of finishes. Like
no, not even that.
the
Level
finish, so
of,
some you can get that are all done, and then some that you're getting that's work, but the walls and everything are there. So then the
right.
next floor up is going to be 3 bedrooms, and then that yellow room that's yellow right now will be like a
Mm-hmm.
pass-through room that could have maybe bunk beds in it and a desk that's like extra
Yeah.
overflow space for extra sleepers for visitors, and then the desk is great for having everyone's
A
working
workspace.
remotely, so
Yeah.
or keeping in touch with your family, even to be
Yeah.
on video calls and stuff like that. And so then the next floor up, I'm not sure if we're finishing it now or it might be in another phase, but that's going to be the master suite. And that we're adding, but that has a terrace going off of it. And so it's like, oh my gosh. And it's rough now. Like on the video that I took, I don't think you saw it yet, but the video I took, like, I'm at the stairs to go up to the thing, and there's like particles flying in front as it, I'm like, appears to be like coming at me already. So that wasn't good. But again, you have to have vision, and the before and afters are going to be amazing. But we're going to put the master bedroom and then a master bath in there too. So it's going to be great, and
Well,
that's the plan.
and it's good to show, like, your church house wasn't like at that level of needing to be
Right.
refurbished, and so it's good to show the different price points and the different levels of what you want to invest your time in. And if you are like, yes, I'm
Yes.
willing to gut the place, or no, I just want to do cosmetic, it shows two
Yeah.
different stories of what it can be accomplished and what it can look like in the end.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Mhm.
And then there's others that are turnkey, that are you don't have to
Right.
do anything other than
Right.
maybe add a kitchen or do nothing. So
Right.
there's all the different levels. And so it's important to know, and also it's not easy to do remotely. So it's important to know before you go over there and buy a house what level you're comfortable with. And
Yeah.
each of those has a price point.
Because it also helps when you're looking through a house. Like, if your mindset is not to do construction and you're seeing all these houses that need a lot of construction, like, it defeats the purpose. So if you like you
Yeah.
said, if you go
Yeah.
over knowing what level you're comfortable with, you can express that to the realtor and say, hey, I don't want to do anything.
Yes.
So you're looking at
Right.
the right houses.
And I think too, some people have that. I've watched so many DIY shows. I know how to do it, and it's like romanticizes all the construction.
Right.
And you have to remember, you're probably not living in it when you're doing it. Like at your own house,
Right.
you're
Right.
living in your house and you're doing this room. And yes, you can find all the supplies, but you have to find them.
Yeah. There's
And
not Home
it's
Depot or Lowe's.
no,
It's a
you're not
different
just like,
animal.
"Oh, darn it, I forgot that, I'm gonna run down." You really have it's a lot
Hmm.
of work. Is it rewarding? Absolutely rewarding. And also, what do I wanna do and what I wanna hire someone to do?
Right.
So, those are all different levels, and so we're gonna really cover most of the Lemon House stuff on our subscription part of
Mhm.
our Instagram page. So, our Instagram page will obviously show Lemon House pictures. Right now, our website has some Lemon House pictures. We're going to do that, but then also add this on the subscription component. We will have deep dive into the numbers, longer format videos, way
Right.
more information on it. Yeah.
Right. Not just the before and after picture. It's the
Right.
work that went into it as well.
Right. Right. So it's kind of like, because we haven't done any construction yet, and it probably will start in February when I go back there. So
Yeah.
it'll be a lot like start to finish. You can follow the whole project. Well,
Yeah.
mine you could follow with the pictures and stuff, but like
Right.
really there. And
Yeah.
yeah,
It'll be
so
fun.
hopefully people like that.
Yeah.
Hopefully, cross your fingers. But yeah, so in the
We'll have
description,
great records.
exactly. So in the description, though, we'll add on the details on how to get on our subscription part of Instagram. We'll give the link to where the Lemon House is on our website, and we'll. Is there anything else I said I'd add? I think that's it. So you'll be able to see the
Yeah.
pictures, and then you'll start to see it on Instagram. We'll start to show it. So
Yeah.
it's a big difference.
But we're
But
up for
okay,
the task.
so we're up for the task. So then next episode, I think I'll be in Italy the next time we do
Yeah.
another one. So we'll see. We'll do an update on when I got back there, and we have some really exciting things too with people we'll do some interviews with while I'm in Italy. So yeah.
Yeah.
So okay,
Sounds
thanks
great.
guys. All right, bye.